Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Football Manager 2020 and the hashtag Viking Manager Save. This is the third video, I believe. As you can see, we're at January 1st, 2025 now. If you haven't if you're not familiar with the series, you can watch the first two videos, which give a brief overview of everything I did before I started recording and what's been going on since, obviously. So last time was the end of the end of season break, and I showed you the transfer business I've been getting done, and I got a few more deals done after that. So you guys had seen the first choice players, which I'd made a priority to bring in. I then realized that I was lacking in depth in places, and I also wanted to get rid of a few more players and so forth. So this guy came in as a backup right winger, 24 years old, pretty solid. Where's the other guy? Crap. Ethan Ampadu came in as another option for centre back. He actually ended up being one of my first choices. As you see, he's had a fairly good season form-wise. It's not superb, not terrible. So he's been in and around the team. Who was the other guy? Why am I... Oh, Somerville with his unpronounceable first name. He came in to be the backup left winger. Then, after the season started, Nicola Cortez, who is, without doubt, a superb player, a great striker, but look at this. 1 goal, 6.65. 1 goal, 6.60. And then on the international stage, he's banging them in. I don't know how they're playing him. I don't know how they're getting... Oh, it's the under-21s as well. I don't know. He'd scored 15 and was leading the Serie A scoring tables when I got here. I don't know what he was doing. Like, how he was being played to get that sort of performance out of him. Let's see. I mean, presumably he's been played as a poacher or an advanced forward with a second striker behind him that's getting that form. I don't understand it, because he's just not performing for me. In fact, he's played fairly frequently for me on the right wing. Not fairly, 2 games. He's been in and around the first team because mostly because this guy got injured. This was my other final transfer. This was actually my last transfer of the window. He cost a pretty penny, 25 million coming in from Inter Milan, and he's quite good, isn't he? He's not quite as good as Cortez. My coach says he's about the same, but when you compare the two, I based purely on stats, I would pick Cortez. I mean, that's that's obvious, right? You're not picking Esposito over Cortez in this situation, usually. But then you look at the form, and 11 games, 8 goals, a 7.43, 1 game in the Tim Cup, 1 goal, 8.20. He's banging them in, and it's the main reason is I like to play with a pressing forward. And I didn't shoehorn Cortez in as a pressing forward. I tried him as an advanced forward. I tried him as a poacher, and he still wasn't scoring. And I was actually playing... I need to change this back, as I had to fiddle with the formation due to injuries a while ago, and I never changed back. This also isn't right. This is meant to be like that. And then he's meant to be there. Yeah, so I think my last game... Let's have a look at the fixtures. So we had a really good preseason. Morale was terrible at the club, so I jam-packed preseason with friendlies. And actually, we've had fairly good form. We lost to Sampdoria, we lost to Cagliari. We drew with Spal. We got hammered by Juve. That was not a good game. The last game we played was against Napoli, which, yeah, this was the one where I had to make some alterations and go a little bit more defensive, because both my right backs were out. I think one was suspended, one was injured, so I had to play Bonifazi as a right back. So he and I also dropped a midfielder to the DM spot. just to try and not get overloaded. Napoli seem like they're not doing too well this season, but they still are one of the better clubs in the league, and I didn't want to get overrun. And let's see what their strikers like. They're not that good, actually. Ugh, shouldn't have been scared of them. But I was, so I went a little bit more pragmatic with my approach. Still attacking, but I dropped a midfielder back. As you see, Bonifazi's fullback on defend, because he just doesn't have the ability to not be that. But going back to this, we got thrashed by Juve, had a little bit of a break, got a good friendly win in, beat Inter, lost to Udinese, still in the cup, went on a run of 3 games undefeated coming into the new year, which should be good. We actually had a really long run at the beginning of the season, right? That's cap lock's not shift. There's shift. Like, this good 7-game undefeated until we came against Sampdoria. And this was, I'm pretty sure this was, no, Sebastiano was still playing, so was this after he got injured? Is he there? No, he's still there. I'm not sure where he got injured, because he scored there. Was this after he came back, actually? That seems odd. No, he wasn't in the lineup here. This was when he was injured, and you see Cortez came into the squad instead. We still won, it's just Cortez didn't get on the goal scorer sheet. Yeah, he got injured for... He had a fairly sizable chunk of this out on the sidelines with 6 weeks. But before I get too far down the rabbit hole, so to speak, there's a couple of things that really need to be addressed, which... Okay, apparently I've moved on too far. Well, we had a takeover. Where do I... No, that's not right. Yeah, it's here. Landmarks, right? Yeah, so we had a consortium takeover. They injected 30 million into the club. Didn't really give me any of it in transfers. I requested more money, and they gave it to me, which I put to use. Bringing in... I'm trying to hit that under 20s marker right now, so I'm bringing in Adnan Ivic. He's been confirmed. He hasn't played much, but he looks like a real prospect. My scouts think very highly of his future, so he's coming in. Ibrahim is going out. Luca's going out because Luca played a little bit while Esposito was injured, and towards the end of last season I started preferring him over Cortez for those last few games. But with Esposito coming in, he's so surplus, it's ridiculous. So he's gone, sadly. Waltinho, that was not me. I think that was one of the transfers the board had made promises when they came in. Like, part of the campaign to take over the club was promises of signing 2 players. He was one of them. The other one was actually a really tasty looking centre back who apparently they didn't manage to get, and I don't remember the name of. He was a very nice looking centre back though. I actually feared for my job when they came in because they had strong links to Germany and wanted to appoint the former Germany manager, which I don't remember his name, but I can easily, because he was the last manager in charge of them, Dirk Schuster, who is apparently now retired. So it's a good thing they didn't replace me with him. Might be why they didn't replace me with him, because he retired. But either way, I kept my job. Went from strength to strength with that. There was something else that happened that was really big, and I've already blanked on it, which is a shame. We've sold a lot of players, 131. This is the club's record for outgoings and ingoings. I managed to get an impressive amount for this guy, who's really not very good. Gonzalez, gone. Wolf, who's just not good enough, gone. He's actually very good, he's just old. I think I covered that last time. In the league, you can see we're 7th. We were expected mid-table by the board. I think the preseason had us at 7th. Yep, so we're pretty much right on target for where people expect us to be. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm really hoping to break into this top 6, obviously. But I won't be heartbroken if we finish 7th. It's better than we did last season. We just fell apart towards the end of last season. Let's have a look at... I don't have anything there. I forgot I didn't have a custom. I just go with this. So our top goal scorer is Esposito with 9. Crysencio Somerville has 5, actually. I'm impressed by that. I didn't realize he'd been playing so well. We lost our first choice left back Tabuni to a bit of an injury for a while, so that's why Somerville played a little bit and got all these goals. Apparently, didn't realize he was scoring that much. I'm gonna have to give him more of a run. Lehaji on free, Luca Cortez, Mello, Florent. Florent has been, for me, besides Esposito, my best signing. He has been a revelation since joining, worth every penny of the 25 million we paid for him. He's consistently playing really well. He's got our most assists with 6, way ahead of our next best Mello on 2, and 3 for Mello, 3 for Tabuni, 2 for Lehaji, and 1 for Pietro Bruni, who is a youth prospect who I've been given a little bit of game time to. You see, it's a lot off the bench. Kraus has got 2, and 1. Lukic 1. Yeah, that don't need to see the ones. Chances created, again, Florent da Silva is way up there on 8, on 10. Lehaji has 8, 6, 5, 4. Players of the match, Esposito takes that with 4, Mello with 2, Lehaji with 2, and average rating, Esposito with a phenomenal 7.55. Ricardo Di Lucia, who is that? Oh, that's my backup right back, I believe, who is now fit again? He's on a 6.37. Florent is 3rd. This guy hasn't played very much. He's been one of my backup centre backs with a 2 point. He's actually doing well, so he's going to replace Ampadu in the first team. Bonifazi is having a good season. This guy's played a bit more than this guy, so one of these two is going to be taking the regular starting berth from Ampadu. Early on in the season, I played around with them a little bit, and first 5 games shook out with Ampadu having a much better average rating than everyone else, so I gave him the nod. Salah Eddin has been superb for us, coming in from Udinese. Well, he was on loan at Udinese. From Ajax for 5 million is a bargain, I reckon. They don't think he's got much potential to grow, but, that's right. I actually didn't scout any of the players before I bought them. Was this guy already here? Yeah, this guy was already here. I just promoted him. So I had no idea what their potential ability was. I just went off of, are they young? Can they slide into my first team? With me looking at the stats. And most of them could, so I did not look at the potential, which seems like a mistake now because very few of them have much room to grow. Most of them are already playing at their peak. That reminds me, there was a kid. Did I hope I shortlisted him. Is this... Okay, there's no... Eduardo? Was that him? No, it wasn't him. I don't know. There was a random 19-year-old who was just absurdly good. I think he was Brazilian. He might have been French. I think he might have been playing for Lyon. Let's see. Can I find him? Is that the top? No, okay. All the way up. Nope, not there. Oh, there he is. 19 years old, just isn't interested in joining us. Recommended 97. 5 out of 5 stars. 19 years old. Are you ready to see this kid? Ooh. Ooh. He's not... his finishing isn't great for a centre forward, but that is such a good player, right? He scored 23 goals last season. Look at those average ratings. He's 19 and putting up these numbers for the last 4 seasons, 3 of which he's been in the first team of Lyon, who are not breaking down Paris Saint-Germain's title hole, which, Nance, what are you doing? That's odd. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's been going on. Looking forwards, we have Crotone. I'm not sure if I do this, will it? I don't know if this is going to get caught on the video or not, but I really want to look at this. At some point, I don't know if this is getting caught on the video. I apologize if it's not. At some point, this is just after the board took over. I was given an E rating as a manager. The board will announce their decision regarding your future shortly. They were not very happy with me. I'm looking at the screenshot now for when they first came in, which should have Machuca was the other player they were gonna put an offer in for, and yeah, he's a real tasty centre back. Rival consortiums. Did I have anything else interesting that I screenshotted? I did not screenshot anything else. That's odd. I could have sworn that was something else, and I'm blanking on it. That is really bad for the video. So now, let me just change this back. We have a game in 4 days. I don't see much point. It's not a big game, so I won't bother boring you with this by playing it out for the camera. We do have a couple of transfers coming in, as you saw. I've still got 15 million in the kitty, so we'll see what I can do. Oh, I did a complete renovation of the backroom staff. That was something I did. So the backroom staff was terrible. I fired 6 scouts, maybe more. I fired the entire physio department. I didn't fire any coaches, but I brought in 4 or 5 new coaches just to bring them up to these levels. They were that bad before that, like, yeah. They're not even the best in the league now, which, to be fair, I call bullshit on this. The only reason why Juve have a higher rating than us is because they have a 4th physio, while we only they have a 5th. Wait, why are they better than us then? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure all my physios have 20s. Yeah, all of them have 20 on physio. It might just be because these 2 guys are shit at physio. Which, by the way, speaking of, it is really hard to find data analysts who are actually any good at their job. I didn't think it would be that hard, but let's see. Judging player data, right? 11 and 13 for 11 for team data, 13 for data analysts. That was the best one I could find who wanted to come. That's absurd. I'm really happy with the director of football I got in, though. 20 judging. And where's his negotiating? It's not listed here. I think he's 20 as well. 19 negotiating. So he is really good at what he does. I might give him more control over transfers going forwards. Don't know yet. Probably going to get rid of this guy. He's a bit shit. 15 and 15. But I don't think there's anyone better than him available to me right now. So I have to bring the club up a little bit. Coaching-wise, Jens Lehmann is phenomenal at goalkeeper coaching, but I'm not even using him for goalkeeping, I don't think. Let's see. Edit coaching assignments. Don't see Lehmann there. Where's Lehmann? Hey, Lehmann. Yeah, I got him over on tactical possession, which is what I brought him in for. Because he's really good at that too. So yeah, that's everything that we've been up to. Is a lot of transfers, a lot of backroom staff building. This is our Dream 11, according to my assistant coach. It's not really how it lines up a lot of time. Tabuni is not go-to attacking midfielder. He's out on the left wing, which gives Florent his spot. So yeah, that's it. That's everything. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, I guess. Haha. And yeah, I'll be back at the end of the season, hopefully with a cup final game to cover, and talking about my future plans and how the season went overall. Till then, bye bye.